Welcome back to, I think we're on now. Welcome back to part 2 of this week's Reckless Speculation. We like to hear ourselves talk a lot, so we didn't get through all of our topics yesterday. So we're back again. Raj was 1 for 1 on time, couldn't be here on time today, but I'm sure he'll be here shortly. And we also have, who's always on time, Robbie Davis.
Yes.
What's going on?
It's amazing. We allocated an hour and a half yesterday to talk about the NFL, and we didn't get to the NFL very much at all. So yeah, we're having to run it back again for the second time this week, which is awesome. I'm always happy to chat. Yeah, it's another cold day here in Tennessee. I'm ready for the weather to warm up a little bit.
Yeah, I totally agree. Our greens are still covered here, so golf has been out of the question for a while, even if you wanted to play. So there he is. What's going on, Raj? Can't hear you, buddy.
Cannot. Here we go again.
All right. So anyway, let's let him figure out what's going on there. We're gonna dive right into it. Championship weekend. We'll start with. Are you on now, Raj?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Is that a no? I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Thank God.
You're good.
Woo-hoo.
All right. Good, because my first question is actually for you. We're going to dive right into it. Chiefs versus Bengals.
Oh.
Chiefs favored, like we said yesterday, -7. Over-under is 54.5. So after Burrow beat the Titans, he announced he's tired of this underdog narrative. They're obviously underdogs here in this situation. Do you think Burrow can pull this off against this high-powered Chiefs team? And if so, what are they going to have to do so?
I mean, crazier things have happened. I don't think this Chiefs team is unbeatable by any stretch. Obviously, the defense is pretty vulnerable with the right offensive firepower, and the Bengals have that. I mean, I think they need a huge dose of Joe Mixon to set everything up. But, I always look to see who's the best playmaker on the field. And despite Kansas City have two amazing ones, Jamar Chase is probably the guy I'd go with. Point being is that they have the firepower. Now, can their offensive line hold up long enough to keep him alive? I've said this before. The Bengals gave up the third most amount of sacks in the league, and the attempts weren't extremely significant, more so than anyone else. I'm at a loss for words, but the Titans had 9 on them. It's a much tougher place to play in Kansas City, but as of right now, the weather's fine. To answer your question, yeah. I mean, I think that's a lot of points. The Chiefs are not unbeatable. Would I be surprised if Cincinnati won? Sure, but it could happen. They've got the talent.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think if anything, it's gonna have to come down to slowing the pace of the game with Mixon, like you said.
Oh, yeah.
They can be ran on for sure. I just don't think they want to get into a shootout with Mahomes. We saw how that ended for the Bills. So, all right, Robbie, for you. So yeah, speaking of high-powered offenses, they're both pretty high-powered. Do you think this is going to be another shootout type game, or do you think it's going to be slowed down? You think that's the Bengals' game plan? And the Bengals being younger, not being here, is that going to come into factor?
I've been thinking about this game all day, and Joe Burrow just doesn't lose big games. It seems like he's played in a bunch of them in college. He has now played in a couple in the NFL. he always comes out on the victorious side. However, he's never faced a team like Kansas City with a quarterback like Mahomes on the other side. I think the Bills may have done the blueprint for the Chiefs, though. It has been this whole we have to counteract their attack, and so we're going to slow the game down. We're going to keep them off the field. Where the Bills at the end just said, "We're going to score with you," and it may be a who gets the ball last kind of game. So I think the key in this is not necessarily the Bengals running the ball, but can the threat of running the ball be enough to keep the Chiefs from teeing off on Burrow? Because the Bengals offensive line, hey, they went out and they drafted Jamar Chase, high first round pick, knowing they needed an offensive line. They made the right pick because that guy's a stud. But now they've built it, but they may have built it too quickly because they do need an offensive line. If he gets sacked 9 times in this game and they're playing from behind the sticks as much as they did against Tennessee, with that offense on the other side, they're going to be in trouble. But I think you say, hey, our weapons are Higgins, Boyd, Chase, and Burrow. You got Kelsey and Tyreek Hill and Mahomes. Let's go. Let's go like a fast break basketball game. Let's just throw it and let's see what happens. I love.
Hey, and that let's not forget, it wasn't the playoffs, but this game happened in Week 16, and the Chiefs were up 14 late. It was in Cincinnati. Chase had 11 for 266 and 3 TDs.
Yeah,
absolutely unstoppable. When he wasn't catching the ball, he was drawing penalties, including a major penalty on L'Jarius Sneed that gave them a full set of downs. I mean, the only reason why I bring this up is that's a regular season game, obviously, and that was in Cincinnati, slightly different. But they have the ability, and conversely, Kansas City has the defensive inability with, fairly suspect corners to many. If the Honey Badger is out from a concussion, that changes everything right there. That guy's such a difference maker. It's not even funny. But I think they can go toe to toe with them, but the odds aren't great. But it's just nice to know that they have the firepower. There wasn't a lot of running game in that game, but again, that was Week 16. All the starters played, but Mahomes wasn't asked to do much. But it's a confidence builder for Cincinnati for sure.
Well, it's almost like back when that 18-0 Patriots team, last game of the regular season, Coughlin played his starters against New England saying, hey, we're going to prove we can play against you guys. And when they met up again in the Super Bowl, we all know what happened. The Giants got confidence they could play with that Patriots team. And so, Ross, your point, the Bengals got confidence they can play with this Chiefs team.
No, I totally agree with you guys. Yeah. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think they're going to hit the over 54.5.
That seems very low to me.
I agree. I mean, especially after watching the last game with two offenses. That's the thing. The Bengals, I think they can play kind of both ways. You saw them play against the Titans where it was more of a defensive game. Granted,
absolutely.
Burrow still almost threw for 350 yards, but he didn't put points on the board. So defense held. And I think this is going to be a completely opposite game from that and different game plan. They're not going to have 8.5 men in the box trying to stop Derrick Henry. I think they're going to be more nickel dime packages. You're going to see cover, 2 over the top. They're going to try and double team Tyreek and, maybe Kelsey as well. So, but I agree. I think this could definitely be a shootout game. It's definitely on paper. It looks to be the hype, close to what we saw last week.
If Cincinnati wins, I will never call Joe Burrow a bum again.
That's right. It might come back to bite
Probably
you.
should have stopped doing that by now. No, it's a
It
great
was just
point.
the first
They're
half of
very
every single
adaptive
week of the season. The Joe Burrow is a bum text
whenever
had
you
to
bet
come
on
out.
them.
Yeah, go ahead, Raj.
But no, that's a great point. No, they can play both sides. They're very adaptive, and a very underrated player is C.J. Ozuma, the tight end. He is a very dynamic pass receiver. Once he learned how to block, which he obviously did, but always been a dynamic threat. And you can spread the field with that guy, Higgins, Boyd, Chase, two running backs that can both catch the football, and Mixon and Perrine. I mean, that's as good as it gets. Again,
Yeah.
Burrow's got to have enough time to stay alive, but the potential is definitely there. And I think people are making the mistake that, well, they're more of a, 3 yards in cloud dust team like last week, but I think that's wrong. I think that was the tempo and style of the game that they could play, and they were fortunate enough to win. But I mean, they can sling it. There's no doubt Burrow can sling it with the best of them.
For sure.
With Cincy being able to adapt and go back, they changed their style of game to match what the Titans wanted to do, and they won that game playing how the Titans wanted to play. There's no doubt about that. The Titans wanted that a drag-out game, and they said, okay, we'll do it, and they did.
Yeah, well, and they forced. They said, "Look, we're going to force Tannehill to try and win this game," and obviously we saw the result of that. But this is a young Cincinnati team, and to be this competitive and aggressive this early on, I think we've got a lot here in the future, especially if they can put a few key pieces on the offensive line. We're going to see this team here for a while. I mean, the AFC is starting to really stack up, especially with young quarterbacks and high-powered offenses. The Titans got to be careful because they could get left behind quickly if we don't make the right moves, especially salary cap wise, and keep key players. So it's going to be interesting to watch.
Oh yeah, any fear of Brady, Manning, Breeze, Roethlisberger, Rivers, them retiring and the game slowing down, that's gone. There's a whole new generation of studs in the NFL, especially the AFC.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
loaded.
It's crazy. I mean, especially it's mind blowing the talent that we've seen lately, and the transition of the game. Obviously, higher power offensive side. I know Raj misses the good old days where they just ran the ball, and I don't disagree with that. But I think those days are a little bit behind us. All right.
What I miss is Cincinnati having a decent right side of the line. That's their weak point. That's also Kansas City's, conversely, their strong point where Frank Clark sits. So the right side of Cincinnati's offensive line is pretty rough.
Raj misses the day of being able to zigzag on Tecmo Bowl when you get ahead of the line and not get caught.
That was sweet, dude. And then I'd run the full circle around him.
Yeah.
Run
out the clock.
I used to be able to go all the way back to my own end zone and then go back 100 yards with Bo Jackson. That was the best.
Of course. All right, Raj, let's go to you first. What is your score prediction of this game, and who do you got winning?
Wow.
Over 54.5.
Sometimes for me, it's just a feeling. Like everybody thinks the over is going to come in, so naturally it'll be an ugly defensive game. They've already seen each other play once. This is their third game in 3 weeks for both teams. For both teams, right? Kansas City played. Only Tennessee got a bye, maybe. I can't think.
One bye each.
Something tells me it's going to be less scoring than what we think. I just don't know if there's another shootout. If I'm Kansas City, I'm dead, like tired-wise and everything. Again, this is just something that I have a feeling of. If the over comes in, I'm going to say 36-33 Kansas City. But Cincinnati, although they can do that, they don't want to get there. And I'm hoping This is bold, but I'll probably go with it. I'm going to go 28-26 Cincinnati.
Wow. Nice. All right.
Just
You
under.
better bet money line
Right.
then.
Yeah, no kidding.
Actually, yeah. Well, of course. But that's 28-26. Oh, that's 54. And that's the over-under, right?
54 and a half.
Okay, good, because I wanted to come in under. I'm saying
got it.
Cincinnati has a chance to shock the world. Now, if they lose by 60, so what? The Chiefs are awesome.
All right, we'll go. Randall texts us in his picks for this game. He believes it's going to be a shootout, and the Bengals are going to cover the +7, and Chiefs are going to win. So he thinks it's going to be pretty close as well. Robbie, what do you think?
I like
So
that too.
the only way I think this goes under is if these teams stay close the entire game. I don't think that's going to happen. And so I think it's going to be one team jump out, the other team come back. I think it's going to be a game. I compare this to a basketball game. I think it's going to be a game of runs. And so if it doesn't stay close the whole game, there's going to be a lot of points scored and a lot of chances taken. I'm going 41-34, which means I'm going to push on the spread. Hopefully that a hook comes in one way or the other, but I think the over is going to hit, and I think it's going to hit fairly early.
I don't disagree.
If memory serves, our host said it was going to be an easy cover by Kansas City yesterday.
Yeah, Brandon, what was your prediction?
Yeah, so, well, I'm getting there.
That was it yesterday.
Yeah, so
just wanted to make sure we remembered that before.
I've got the over. I think it is going to be somewhat of a shootout. I agree with the runs, but I think you're going to see a lot of big plays that hit in this game. I've got the Chiefs 37-27. I think they're going to stay close for a while, and I think, fourth quarter, Chiefs are going to have a couple big plays, big breaks, and it's going to put them away.
Just side note, off topic. So at least in Tennessee, where we are, 43% of the population now has COVID. What's the over? I'm going to set the over-under of 1. Over-under 1 player being in the COVID protocol throughout the Super Bowl.
0.
I'm going 0.
It's under. Yeah, they magically stopped testing. There's no money's on the table here. We got to have the high profile players in. So I would
it'll be like baseball,
like
here. Whatever's tested for isn't public until after the fact.
Yeah,
nobody's missing that game.
They'd have Patrick Mahomes take 500 tests and get 1 negative. Be like, all right, you're good to go.
Yeah, it's right. It's like he never tested
literally
positive. It was fine. No, so
cause of genocide,
one more
but the Super Bowl ratings will be super high.
Joe Burrow sacked how many times? I'm going to call over under at 5. Robbie?
Man, against that offense, if he's sacked more than 5 times, it's bad news. So I think it's going to be within 7. So I'm going to have to go under just to make my close game count.
Raj?
I was going to go push, take the cheap way out. I don't recall Kansas City's sack numbers, but, probably not too high when you're facing Josh Allen running around back there. But
they've got 41 on the year.
Didn't help. And it didn't help Joe Burrow last week, like you guys said, the style of play, the team who they were playing. It wasn't like he was able to take 3-step drops and get real football. He was running for his life when he did throw it. But 9 sacks and winning the game, that's still unheard of. I'm sorry. You guys must be so mad. I would be.
Yes.
We are.
And a lot of it, he's got to learn to get rid of the ball quicker, too. Like, some of those sacks were just the defensive line being dominant, but some of them were hey, if it's not there, you got to get rid of it and
Yeah.
live to fight on the line of scrimmage another day.
I think that'll come with time. I mean,
But he didn't force any balls, right?
This is his first like legit full season he's played. So
Yeah.
I think that'll just come with experience. I mean, NFL moves so much faster than college, so I think he'll get there. He's definitely got the talent for it. Go ahead, Rush.
I'd take a sack over a turnover, especially in the playoffs on the road. Burrow seems to have done that pretty well.
100%.
He's really good at getting sacked.
Yeah. Don't force it. Just get rid of it. Throw it out of bounds. Throw it into the ground.
Well, that's the next. Absolutely.
I'm going to call over 5
That's not
sacks.
That's not the Tannehill or Garoppolo approach.
No.
Yeah. I'm going to call over 5 sacks on that, and we'll see what happens. That'll make my bets line up. So anyway, let's move on to 49ers Rams. Rams favored 3.5. Over under is 45.5. Raj, facing a stout Rams defense, I mean, do you see a similar game plan as the previous matchups at the 49ers against the Rams? Is this going to be the Deebo Samuel show again?
Yeah, I mean, like I said many times, best players, best defense. And even though the Rams have superstars, high-paid superstars, the most unstoppable player, at least offensively, is Deebo Samuel. They played each other in San Francisco, and the Niners boat raced them. They played in LA, and the Rams pulled a Rams. Like I said, I hope you guys Googled Ram It on YouTube. It's amazing, the video from the 80s. But like I said, now I call it Ram It. That's what they did against the Niners. If the Rams aren't focused, they just go to sleep. And that seems like an MO with superstars in general. Perhaps a blanket statement, but the Niners are not going to quit. And they're going full tilt the whole game. The Rams don't do that. I've never seen them do that. Matthew Stafford sure as hell doesn't do that. So even though I think the Rams are a more talented team and they have, better skill groups, if you will, aside from receiver, I mean, I'd rather go to war with the Niners and what's his name? Micah. Why did I forget his name? What's the coach's name?
Mike Shanahan or Kyle Shanahan?
Kyle Shanahan. Damn it. I always say Mike. So, yeah, I think the Niners not only cover, but they win. And I want the Rams to win. I only have one favorite team, like I said, but I'm from that area, and they were there when I was there. So I'd love to see them win. And who doesn't want to see Jalen Ramsey and Errol Donald and Leonard Floyd, during Super Bowl media week. But the Rams have also showed a total inability to run the football. And I don't see them running the football this week. And again, I think the Niners are just bigger and tougher, and they want it more.
All right. Robbie. So
you and I you're confusing Mike Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan because I brought up Tecmo Bowl. Mike Shanahan was on Tecmo Bowl back of the Broncos. So this
actually it was Dan Reeves back then.
Yeah,
it was not Shanahan,
but so this one to me is one of those. Y'all have been right. I've been wrong. The Niners seem like the worst team there in the playoffs to me. And it's been a matchup gift for them. It looks like to get Dallas, to get Green Bay, and now to get the Rams, who they beat 6 times in a row. And
really,
yeah, Shanahan's beat McVay 6 times in a row. So that's in San Francisco and then in San Francisco South, which is the Rams Stadium, where San Francisco is going to be again the home team. And so, which is pathetic from LA fans. Like, this is the NFC Championship. Don't sell your tickets to Niners fans. But nonetheless,
do you see how much gas is down there, bro? It's like over $5 I paid when I was back there.
Yeah, you sent us that picture.
I don't miss those days. This is more like a fighting style type matchup. It seems like I think the Rams have more talent and they've got more assets and they've got more ability, but the Niners fighting style seems to just win this battle. And I can't buck that trend anymore of going 6 times in a row. I think they make it 7. I think it's a low-scoring game, though. I think the Niners defense matches up, and I agree. Deebo Samuel, like, what do you do with him?
He threw a touchdown on the last matchup. I mean, he's everywhere.
Shanahan, who's a great play
throw,
designer,
run, and catch.
Weapon like that.
That's a good point.
It reminds me of when Percy Harvin was at Florida, and it was just like he's everywhere, and you can't deal with him. That's what it reminds me of. And so, yeah, I'm getting 3.5. I'm taking the Niners.
Fred Warner. It kind of reminds you of the Patrick Willis days when these guys are just monsters that are too fast, too strong for the other team. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. No, I agree. Both good points. I just think, the Rams have sold out this year. I mean, the time is now for them, if not when. I mean, I think Sean McVay is going to be focused. I think he's watched, this matchup, this game film 1,000 times and is trying to come up with some kind of scheme to stop Deebo Samuel. And that's going to be the key. If they can slow, I don't say stop. I mean, there's no stopping this guy. He's going to get his. But if they can contain the big chunk plays that he produces, I agree. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be a defensive game. And again, like I've said all year, if Stafford does not force a turnover, I really think the Rams can pull this one out, despite losing 6 in a row to the 49ers.
Well, an intriguing thing, Brandon, and to back up your side of the argument, 2 things. Nick Saban beat Kirby Smart 4 or 5 times in a row until he didn't. And then also the Niners and Rams playing essentially the exact same schedule, minus some home and aways. Rams were 2 games better than the Niners, and 2 of those losses were to the Niners. So that could be if you split those games to 3 game. If you flip it, it's 4. So I know there's a lot of ifs and buts, but there's some stats that say, hey, the Rams are significantly better playing at home. So yeah, maybe the spread's justified, but I'm just one of those until I see it. I'm not gonna pick it.
Yeah, but I mean, I also think
quick
Rams,
trivia.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was
just going to say quick trivia. How many years we're on delays. How many years in between is it between the Rams' first round draft picks? How many years are in between the last one and the next one?
First round picks?
4? Is it 4?
High or low, Rob?
So they picked. Well, okay, no wait. So
they traded.
4?
You can't think about it. I know you want
first round.
It's 7, you jerk. It's 7 years. Their last first round pick was Goff in 16, and basically almost 8 years. Their next first round pick is the 2024 draft. Okay. So depending on how you view the seasons and 23 season, 24, whatever, it's 7 full years.
And they whiffed on that first round pick and for Goff.
But, they sold out all those picks to get the team they have now. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if they can't win now with their coaching, and like I was going to say earlier, Cam Akers coming back was huge. And Sony Michel was a great pickup this year. I mean, he's done a whole lot this, late in this year. I think they can, kind of control the clock a little bit. I know the defense is stout, but I really think they can run the ball and kind of not put so much pressure on Stafford.
And man, a home Super Bowl.
Akers was the MVP for Tampa Bay,
and he is hungry and running hard right now. So I'm anxious to see it.
He's got to hold on to the football a little bit, but no, that's what I said. He was the MVP last game for Tampa Bay.
Right,
but. They didn't use Michelle at all, which was interesting because he had been kind of as much of a bell cow as he will be. He didn't play hardly at all last game. So they are going to have to run the ball a lot better than they did, and I don't think they will.
Well, we'll see. All right, let's go on to our score predictions and winner picks. I think we kind of got that a little bit, but Raj, go ahead. You go first.
What's the over? 46?
45 and a half.
I'm concerned about I just feel like it's going to be the game in the 20s and the Niners win. Whether or not the over comes in, I don't know. I'm thinking something like 25-21 San Francisco. Some weird score. Hey, you never know, safeties and field goals and shit. Excuse me. Maybe somebody goes for 2, but a 3 to 4-point win for San Francisco in the 20s. Take it as you may. I'm not touching the over. That's why.
Nice.
I'll take San Francisco.
I'm actually close to that, but I'm opposite. I've got 24-21 Rams. I think it's a low-scoring game as well. Robbie?
Yeah, I got 24-20 San Francisco. So we're all in the low 20s, right around the over-under. So it's going to be interesting to see if this line moves and how much it does. ESPN's got it at 46 right now. So up the half point. But not a lot of money's come in on this game yet, which is it's open and stayed where it's at, where the over-under in the early game has moved 3.5 points and the line's moved a half a point. So money's going in on the early game so far.
I think a lot will come in after the early game because this is definitely not the game that people are looking forward to. By the way, the Lakers are in Philly right now. Philly, the land of the crappiest fans on earth, because my theory always is the worst city, the worst the fans. Philly's a piece of shit. Excuse my language. Anyways, LeBron's not playing, but Carmelo, a seasoned veteran, just got into it with some fans. Wasn't quite the malice at the palace, but it's always nice to see when idiot fans provoke an NBA player and he responds. So now they're kicking these dummies out, but I just wanted to note that we almost had a brawl. That would have been something to talk about, the NBA before the playoffs. But I'm surprised Melo indulged.
So Randall's pick is Rams dominate Niners. He's taking the under and Rams to win outright. So that's where he's at.
Wait,
also,
so the Rams are going to shut him out type thing?
He didn't make it clear. I just think dominate. I think it's just the under points total, not shutting out. But
we're a half hour into it. If people watching can like and subscribe, that would help out tremendously. Don't want to wait till the end to do it each time. So yeah, if you'll like and subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. We're going to keep doing new content and more entertaining as the seasons progress. So we'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, actually, Randall was asking us about doing a show live before Lock Sunday at 2:30, or to promote that show. So somebody's going to be on. We'll figure that out. Could be us. Could be just Randall coming back from the dead.
Actually, women's basketball on UT Lady Vols an upset alert. Actually, I think a show of Randall going through his recovery would be a pretty solid show.
Yeah. I just like to talk about the slow motion.
Dave Chappelle, Randall's recent.
No, go ahead.
Well, if you want to talk about Randall's recovery, this is for Randall. The question would be, how much time you got, buddy? Clayton Bigsby.
Yeah,
anyone?
Yeah, Clayton Bigsby is
poor Randall's got more ailments than anything. He's been through the ringer and back, and got more inner solitude. He's a great dad. I would have folded years ago if I went through what he went through.
I was getting on reckless speculation again tonight. She's like, "How's that possible? According to Randall's Facebook, he's dead." And I was like, "I don't know what's going on."
Well, we got through that pretty quickly.
We laugh at the
I
more
was surprised.
He's dead. Why is that funny? Randall's got a sense of humor too, but Allison's sense of humor is outstanding.
Another, I guess, couple. Let's talk about a couple coaching moves that happened in the NFL today. Was OC coordinator or defensive coordinator of the Colts goes to the Bears. Cannot remember his name or pronounce it if I remember correctly.
Golf, something like that.
Yeah, I would butcher that.
Is their defense that great? I mean, wasn't Nagy a defensive guy or was he an offensive guy?
Nagy?
Like the Colts defense didn't exactly. I thought Nagy was defensive. And that's not what the Colts need, or sorry, the Bears need. The other, I know we're transitioning because nobody really cares about the Colts defensive coordinator and the Bears. I know you're getting next to the Broncos, who
Eberflus.
That guy.
Yeah.
We'll go with that guy. The reason why the Broncos hire of Hackett, the Packers offensive coordinator, is so interesting to me is because, again, my pipe dream as a Raider fan is to reunite Devontae Adams with Derek Carr, or if we can get rid of Derek Carr and bring in Rodgers, just bring in Devontae Adams. But obviously the Green Bay offensive coordinator, there's tons of speculation, reckless speculation, as to Denver trying to sign and trade for Rodgers and bring in Adams with him. I don't know. And financially, they have like 45 million. They've
got a lot of fat.
They have a lot of guys they can get rid of.
Yeah, for sure.
But it could easily happen. And if Rodgers and Devontae Adams go to Denver, I'm going to jump off my roof because I just loathe the Donkeys and I don't want to see them get that good that quick.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Aren't the Broncos for sale?
I have no idea.
Are they?
I know Pat Bowlen
figuratively
died.
speaking, or
no. I mean, like Pat Bowlen died a few years ago. I want to say they're the state's selling the Broncos, so I think this is a higher.
Oh, you're right.
With the intent,
$3 billion tax write-off for the new owner.
How much?
$3 billion.
It says the Broncos sale will offer. It hasn't been done yet. They are for sale. A record $3 billion tax write-off for the new owner. That was a ruling last month by Denver's 2nd District Court.
How can you write off?
Which paved the way for the sale. So
wait, you can. What are they going for? What's the price? What's the purchase price?
I mean, the most expensive team to be purchased was $3.3 billion for the Nets. So basically,
they're gonna go for like $5
billion. Pay $4 billion for the Broncos and get to write off $3 billion. Yeah, exactly. It's like, we should just get our buddies together and straight Packer style, dude. We should buy them. Sweet tax write-off.
We're gonna need to make some more friends.
But yeah, so I think this is almost if you get Hackett, and then if Rodgers comes, all of a sudden you have a new. Well, one, I don't know why the hell Zuckerberg and Bezos and them don't own teams anyways. Elon Musk, I can't imagine being that rich and being that much of a loser where I don't own an NFL team. But I digress. But it seems like, hey,
or an island.
Come spend $5 billion, get a $3 billion tax write-off. You're your instant Super Bowl contenders. This just seems like
sure.
These seem like backdoor deals where they hired him to where Rodgers comes in, knows the offense, and like Raj just brought up, the Rams they went 7 years without a first-round pick. What in the heck does 4 first-rounders pick when you whiff on half of them anyways? Go get
Randall. Randall saying Peyton Manning has just has had discussion with potential ownership groups to buy the Broncos too. So
I love
Is
Peyton
this like
Manning.
an
Peyton Manning
Elway run again?
Yeah, I love Peyton. Peyton's very
I
rich,
mean,
very, very rich, but that's a whole other tax bracket.
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Totally
Colorado,
agree.
though, is a small town NFL in the sense that you could see the state actually approving that type of thing for a $3 billion write-off. That does not happen in states with more dire needs, such as New York or California. The one downside of being a big market fan. But I agree. It's absolutely like the entire state legislature is basically like, we need a winner back in Denver. So this is what we're going to do. Like, wow. It's very eye-opening, to say the least, this day and age. And you nailed it. You absolutely nailed it.
I mean, honestly, to buy an NFL franchise for only $2 billion, if that was the sell price and the write-off, that's a
steal.
Steal, yeah.
Yeah. 100% agree.
How much did Jerry buy the Cowboys for?
Oh, it was like $100
now
million
they're the most
back in
the
80s, and it's worth what 6 or 7
now they're the
billion
most
now,
valuable franchise.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't they more so than like Man U? Everything, they're the most valuable franchise in all of sport.
I think so. I have to look at Forbes, but and it's just going up and up. Like the European TV markets don't grow like the American markets are growing, and then Yahoo or Google, Amazon, Facebook, they're going to set it so high.
Yeah,
you don't see stadium development over there. Like, I mean, the Knicks blow, but they are the most highly valued franchise in the NBA, partially because of the real estate and the arena that they have. Madison Square Garden is a gold mine for multiple reasons. So I don't think anybody would think the Knicks are more valued than the Lakers, but they really are.
Oh, yeah.
C'est la vie.
Yeah. Yeah, and another topic to note, to no one's surprise, Mr. Big Ben retired officially today. Future Hall of Famer, 2 Super Bowls, did a lot for the city of Pittsburgh. Stayed with one team his entire 18 years, which is pretty incredible these days. I couldn't see him attempt to try and go to another team, especially with the tank on E right now. So what are your thoughts on that, Raj?
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious he was a shell of himself, or like 5 times the shell of himself, however you want to say things, the last few years. It was kind of funny when he was Big Ben initially. He was sort of like this, muscular Steve Young type that was impossible to bring down, that was very savvy with his straight arms and could get away from people. But I feel like towards the end, he was just like Humpty Dumpty. Like he would just roll around and see if somebody was in its path, they'd tackle him. Otherwise, his fat ass would make a mistake. Or obviously, I'm not a fan of the guy, and I admire the fact that he turned his life around. He was a kid that was from small town Ohio, went to Miami of Ohio, suddenly is quarterback on arguably the biggest sports franchise of all time, and they're winning. And then, we're surprised when he gets busted for what he got busted for. As terms of being on the field, when I think of that guy, I think of a winner and I think of a leader. Juju Smith today came out like in my SC drib drab that I, for some reason, pay attention to, probably because it's more entertaining than SC football itself. But he just talked about how much Roethlisberger meant to him as, in his career. And Roethlisberger didn't know, even though Juju was a second-round pick, that he would be a good player. He did that with Antonio Brown. He did that with no matter the receiver. He took the time and was very selfless, very team-oriented, and I certainly admire that. I tend to be too black-letter law or hard-lined and give the guy, just hate him because he inappropriately did something. But as a football player, I wasn't there. I don't know about that. What I saw of him on the field He was a hell of a teammate, a hell of a leader, just an indomitable spirit. He would will his team to win. And it was almost like you got to a point where there could be 4 dudes hanging on him. You're like, Ben is not going down. No matter what, he's just not going down. He's going to get rid of the ball, and he's going to figure it out. So he's a Hall of Famer and a very unique player. Probably should have stepped away a few years ago, but much respect for the career that he had and as the person on the field he was.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think in his peak time, he was the guy you didn't want to give the ball to with 25 seconds left on the clock because you knew he was going to drive the ball down.
He was at Elway. Yeah.
And I tweet or text you guys something earlier about, Brady's reference to him. He defied the TB12 method by just throwing some ice on it. This guy played hurt probably more than anybody, especially in that position that I know. And, it was incredible to see him come out there and just wincing in pain and still making throws and unbelievable toughness. They don't make them like that anymore. And now you can't even hit the quarterback that much anymore. So, Robbie,
hey guys, I have a question for you. This is Randall.
I was like,
hey,
it's like, is that God?
Who do you list as the best quarterback from that draft class?
Well, I'm gonna get
Roethlisberger.
into my list of this generation's quarterbacks. So I'm gonna answer that real quick for you, Randy.
He can barely talk. Let him finish the question.
Oh, sorry.
The draft class.
The draft class was Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning. How do you rate them?
1, 2, 3. Just like
of course,
you
we
said.
go straight to Super Bowls. Did Roethlisberger have 2 like Eli? Or
Yeah.
Only one. Yeah, I mean, man, Rivers was such a good quarterback. He was just in the right system to put up numbers. But yeah, he never he wasn't winning a ring. So I agree. I'd say 1, 2, 3, starting with Ben. By the way, Ben, he's got a kid named Bodie, which I don't think he knows. I mean, we all know that's Patrick Swayze, right? But he spells his kid's name Bodie, which is very Ohio, if you will. That's not quite how you spell Bodie, but I think it's kind of a red thing to do. But I just saw that his kid's name was Bodie, which is either awesome or really weird, depending on how you think about it. But yeah, Roethlisberger, Manning, Rivers.
So my take on Roethlisberger is he was the heir apparent to Steve McNair, which is kind of this tough guy quarterback that just it's hard to take down. They're tough. They play through it. They get hit, and they don't get the flags that most quarterbacks get because they are so big. Cam Newton was the same way. You hit Cam Newton a certain way.
Jack,
you hit Brady. If you touch Brady, it's a 15-yard penalty. If you hit Ben, it's not. If you hit Steve, it wasn't. If you hit Cam, it's not. I think Ben was in a great organization. He was a competitor and, 2-time Super Bowl champion. My list of not just that draft class, but this kind of window from 35 to 45 now. Obviously, Brady number 1, Peyton 2. I had a trouble with Breeze and Aaron Rodgers. I think even though Rodgers is more talented, I think I'm going to put Breeze at 3, Aaron at 4. I got Ben at 5, Eli at 6, and Phillip at 7 is how I rank that kind of window of quarterbacks. Agree.
I can't disagree with that. I have to Google
Yeah,
people that are 35. I mean, I don't have an issue with
that was my rough
in
window.
terms of
Just
ranking.
that's just how I mentally.
I agree. I mean,
No,
Philip was
I put
Rivers
Breeze higher
was
than.
Philip Rivers was always around. He was always talked about. He was an elite guy, but he just, he never won the ring. And that when you're starting to nitpick and all these
And
guys are super talented, you have to go to who won the rings, and
the thing with
unfortunately he
Rivers is
didn't.
Rivers had the most
He
talented
was elite
team
between the
at
sheets.
least 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, he's got like 8 or 10 kids or something.
He did it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
38, I think. But yeah, I mean, winners make the plays. They make the throw when they need the throw. They hold the ball when they need the ball. They throw it away when they – and Rivers didn't do that. I mean, he was not a guy that was ever known for – more often than not, he made a decision that was forced in crunch time. Unfair to say it like that, but compared to those other guys, yeah, he would be the guy I would last want. Let's say there's 13 seconds left, like with Mahomes had. I mean, would you rather have Breeze or Rivers to get yourself in field goal position? I mean, it's
Breeze
not
all day.
debatable.
Yeah.
He was
Speaking
a gunslinger in gunslinger offenses, but yeah.
Speaking of forcing and gunslinger,
No,
Randall said, "Do you include?"
No, Favre is way too old. I'm in that group. I'm talking about like the peers that are still playing or recently retired. Favre is. This is not my all-time quarterback list. I have Montana. I have Marino. I have a lot more people. This is just strictly people that were peers with Big Ben. To clarify,
Favre is 52.
Yeah, way too old.
And if Favre went out like on top, like he went out like, oh man, towards the end he looked like worse than Flacco. But yeah, he's 52, and I agree with Rob. That's a different conversation.
I thought he had a good shot at a run there with the Vikings at the first year he played with the Vikings?
Oh, Bountygate. That's when New Orleans was trying to kill him.
Yeah. So I thought,
so did Randall Cunningham.
A little strike of magic.
Not that
Speaking
Randall
of coaching
Cunningham,
changes, what about Sean Payton retiring?
Stepping down. Yeah.
Stepping
because
down. Words matter. That's true. Shane.
Stepping down.
Words matter.
At first, I heard retiring.
Retiring.
Then I heard stepping down.
It's stepping down. They still have him for 3 years on a contract.
So someone's got to pay some draft picks to get him.
So he is in an impossible situation. I think they're even worse than the Packers. I think they're like $70 million over the cap. They have 0 quarterback options. This is a blow up team mode. They're blowing up everybody. They're trading everybody, and they're going to start from scratch, including the coach. And he is too old, and
including Alvin Kamara.
Too many years. He does not want to go through that again. So,
the problem
Kamara's gone. Michael Thomas is gone. It's that Saints team is
no matter what.
I have to think Sean Payton looked himself in the mirror and was like, I'm too good of a coach to have a number 1 draft pick. But there's no way in hell I'm so good that I can grab this team to the playoffs. So I'm stuck in NFL purgatory. Like, you can't be there.
Yeah.
And so he was just like, I'm not going to lose every game to get the number 1 pick. And what quarterbacks are out there right now? So it's just like, I'm just going to step away and take my talents elsewhere.
If Romo
became a no-win situation.
If Romo or somebody goes to Amazon or something like that, he could slide right into a role easily there. Doing announcing and just kind of coast the next 3 years till he's up with the Saints and come back ready to coach, because as we know, the carousel in NFL coaching.
And I think that, granted, the Saints won't let him walk for nothing, but I do think there's such goodwill and he's so revered in that city that it wouldn't be just a ugly divorce. I think there will be some compromise. We being the Saints, would take a little less than we're deserved, but we're going to get something and he can go on his way. I just don't see Miss Benson ending this on a vile streak.
Yeah, well, I mean, he put his heart and soul.
That's the point I was going to make. that's one of the few towns where when you're good and they love you, and you don't have to pay or do anything. Kids, generationally speaking, he would really have to F things up and go down like a toilet bowl, swirly for it, based on what he's done. But, I mean, again, he's going out relatively on top, and he knows at this point, he's well past his prime. It's the point of no return. Is he going to wait another 10 years and turn this around? No, it's a different football era as well. Yeah. So I'd rather have free drinks for life in New Orleans, but
I would be.
He's going out on top for sure.
Yeah.
All right. We're close to time. Got about a little under 5 minutes left. Final thoughts.
Oh, that's it.
Robbie, who wants to go first?
I hope we had more than 5 because I got to take a leak real quick. So I've been holding it, but I'm old.
Go ahead, Robbie. You first. Final thoughts.
Be right back.
Well, another great sports weekend coming up for college basketball fans. We have the SEC Big 12 Challenge on Saturday. That's going to take up the majority of my Saturday. I'm looking forward to it. Getting over an illness, not COVID, but an illness, something different. And so, I'm looking forward to being on the couch all day Saturday watching college basketball. And then Sunday, man, can the NFL possibly get better than it was last weekend? I'm not sure it is possible, but what do you say at this point about the NFL's product? I mean, what can you say? Like, it mesmerizes, like, as high as it is, and it, like, I'd still buy their stock. Like, there's no end to how good it's getting. That, and then and then next weekend, off weekend, and then Super Bowl.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm excited for this weekend. Again, watch a little basketball on Saturday, but man, the NFL's product, I mean, it is king for a reason. It is America's new pastime. It is by far superior to any other sport. I mean, it's not even a question. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I love a lot of other sports, but the production that this puts out is unbelievable. You're on the edge of your seat, especially playoffs. I mean, this year's playoffs, they've done so well. And man, I can't wait. Get your popcorn ready this weekend. It's going to be another.
Before we pass it to Raj, did you hear, Brandon, that our buddy Jeff Fisher got a USFL?
Yes, the Michigan
USFL coaching job.
USFL, yeah. Hey,
the Michigan Panthers.
Panthers in Birmingham, Alabama is where they're playing. So if you guys want to get
USC,
a road trip,
white defensive cornerback.
They are playing all their games in Birmingham, Alabama. How
the hell does that happen?
Every single team from all the different cities are all playing on 2 fields in Birmingham, Alabama. So every game will be in Birmingham. Cheating, they have to travel.
Smart as
the USFL bubble. I like it. Hey,
we have a short drive.
Can we be sponsored by the USFL bubble?
That sounds like a good weekend, right? Like we could go down there.
If beers are
I think
cheap,
we should go.
Yeah, I mean, you got nothing to lose. But the Michigan team has a nice long future of 500 seasons in store for them.
That's what I was going to say. Is it possible they
can
go 8-8 again? Or kick
I think they probably only play 12 games, but that's why I said the 500. Yeah, exactly. Lose against the teams they're supposed to beat, one thing about Jeff Fisher, again, I can be quasi-racist because I'm brown, but him and Jason Sehorn were two not only white defensive backs, but they both played cornerback at USC, and they were good. I'm sorry, but when's the last time you saw a white corner in NFL or even in college? Like sincere, that's rhetorical. We don't need you racist a-holes to answer that. Just kidding. But dude, you'd figure a guy that's a white corner could figure some kind of like competitive advantage out, but Jeff Fisher just couldn't do it. But the white DB question is a sincere question. There's still hard-hitting safeties like Harrison Smith and other dudes, John Lynch, but you don't see a lot of like, and my parents are from India. The only thing that we've seen with Indians in the NFL are statisticians.
The white guys
But
now
we're
play.
pretty good
They
at
play slot receivers. They've been moved to the other side of the ball.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah, dude.
That's right.
Nice point. My boy
Good
Renfro,
point.
dude.
Yeah,
I love
Renfro,
that guy.
Welker, Amendola. I mean, that whole Cole
And you
Beasley.
got Cooper
You know,
Kupp that's just like, hey, I can
Cooper
go
Kupp.
deep too.
yeah.
I can do anything. And for the record,
All
the
right.
Jaguars owner is Pakistani. He's not Indian. Just FYI.
All right, boys. We're just about a minute over our time. Let's call it. Thanks for joining. Please like and subscribe to Reckless Speculation on YouTube, Facebook. Click like, do whatever you need to do. Watch us. We don't disappoint. Randall, you can cut it.
Wait.
We'll see you
Bet
next.
your nuts.
Wait.
Balls +3 tomorrow night.
I thought we did. We did bet your nuts.
Diverse
yesterday.
team.
Well, I know. I was just
Hey,
reiterating
USC's an
that
11-point
my comments
favorite.
hasn't changed.
USC's
bet you're
11-point
nuts.
favorite against Stanford tonight. They lost to Stanford a couple weeks ago. It's a bad matchup. Why it's 11, I don't know. My bet
Wait,
your
what
nuts was
time
on
they
Team
start
USA,
tomorrow?
baby, over El Salvador.
Mine's-
It's at 11 Eastern, which is when all Pac-12 games naturally start. It's on FS1. But yeah,
Mine's
11
still-
points to me is way too many for a team that
I'm
lost.
still
to them.
sleeping on the couch,
And
so I'll
matches
turn it
up
on
well.
and bet on it. So, Raj, you think I should bet who?
I can't say either way, dude, but I'm shocked it's 11, and it stayed at 11 all week. SC is favored. Stanford matches up well. They beat them in the Bay Area, but for
Sounds like
a
Stanford
couple of
plus
reasons, the
11.
game was on like
Got
a
it.
Tuesday, but
I'll
Yeah,
send you the
that's
tab.
something that I- not with what you bet. Maybe a third of it. But anyways, Team USA beat El Salvador. A nice, diverse Team USA. You know, it's soccer is affecting all of our
there's-
country, which is lovely.
There's Randall cutting us out on music.
Don't bring up our
It's
soccer.
time to go.
One of our first shows, we had a soccer talk. We didn't know they could
Playing a
energize and
synthesizer.
He's telling us.
Is
we
he
need to
Robert
go.
Loggia from
All right.
Big with that like electric floor piano?
Reckless Speculation. We'll be back next week.
Yeah.
Possibly Sunday. I don't know
Possibly
what's going
Sunday
on.
before 2:30.
Possibly Sunday at 2:30. Who knows? We'll let you know. Follow, like,
Thanks for
subscribe,
watching.
check us. Let's go.
KOST Coast FM. This is Randall